Good evening. This is really a turn up for the books. This is the Encyclopedia of Gardening by Percy Thrower. And Percy Thrower came from the same vintage stable as people like Jack Hargreaves. Remember Jack Hargreaves? And Peter Scott, the naturalist. A gentleman and a literal scholar about the garden. So let's hear what Chris has to tell us about this Encyclopedia of Gardening by Percy Thrower. I remember watching Percy Thrower as a boy. He's a charming man, and his knowledge about gardening, was extraordinary and just drew you in.
Hi, good afternoon, Tom. It's 5 o'clock, Tuesday tea time, and the 2nd of October. We're all fast approaching autumn and getting the garden sorted out, and that's why I am doing this little review on this quite old book that my sister Anne gave me the other day. I'm always asking her about gardening questions and what have you, and she always tries her best to give me the answer. She's a good gardener. She takes after my mother, who originally had this book. She owned this book, did my mum. So she popped it along the other day for me to keep, which is very kind of her. Called the Encyclopedia of Gardening, Percy Thrower's Encyclopedia of Gardening. So let's see in here about Percy Thrower. So Percy Thrower, who was once described as Britain's head gardener, is one of the most knowledgeable horticulturists of the present day, and one who has reached an audience of millions through his TV programmes and also radio as well. Really, he is always essentially practical, and it is his simple approach to his subject that makes this encyclopedia so refreshingly different. It is packed with cultural information which can be followed by the most inexperienced amateur. Oh, that suits me down to the ground. And be appreciated by the expert. Hundreds of popular and well-known garden and greenhouse plants are described, nearly every genus is illustrated, so that this book is also an excellent picture guide. For the keen plantsman who is seeking to extend his knowledge, there are notes on plants not often seen in the average garden and greenhouses. All the important gardening tasks are included, and a great many of these are illustrated by photographs showing the author at work. Pest and disease control is often puzzling to the gardener, so Percy Thrower has stated simply but briefly which chemicals or other controls to use for all pests and diseases that are likely to be troublesome. Garden terms too are sometimes difficult to understand, so these have been explained, thus making this encyclopedia as complete a guide as possible. At a very early age, the author was determined to become a head gardener like his father. This is continued on the very, very back, so here we go. And on leaving school, he worked for 4 years under him at Horwood House near Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire. At the age of 18, he became a journeyman gardener in the Royal Gardens at Windsor, where he worked under the expert guidance of Mr. C.H. Cook, who later became his father-in-law. From Windsor, Percy Thrower moved to Leeds and then to Derby, which gave him nearly 12 years' experience in park administration before he was appointed Park Superintendent at Shrewsbury, a position which he still holds. Percy Thrower is best known for his television appearances and sound broadcasts. It has been estimated that about 5 million viewers watch his gardening club programme, and the number is constantly increasing. He is an experienced lecturer too. He began at Derby, where he gave lectures on horticulture at the local technical college, and now goes all over the country, drawing large audiences. This is one of the most complete modern books on gardening, lavishly illustrated and a pleasure to read. So, there we go. Now, I've got this book on my tablet stand because, as you know, Tom, videoing a book is very difficult because you've got to have the camera in one hand, and of course you turn a page over and half doesn't follow it. So just a quick flick through of the sort of book it is. There's no colour plates, everything is in black and white. There's everything in here down to how to grow French beans to French marigolds. How to take a begonia leaf cutting. It also covers numerous other vegetables as well. I'll just flick to the front. Excuse my hand in the way. Here we go. Right, so it was first published in 1962 by W.H.&L Coleridge Limited, Tower House, Southampton Street, London, WC2. So it's had umpteen impressions from 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, and this one is a 1967 version. So there we go. Percy Thrower, he was the man that brought gardening into our homes without a doubt, and he was a big Alan Titmarsh holds him in high esteem, as does Monty Don. So, yeah, he was, don't know whether I mentioned this at the beginning, but he was born in Little Horwood in Buckinghamshire, and that was on the 30th of January 1913, and he died on the 18th of March 1988. He was a British broadcaster from 1956 to 1976. So a very comprehensive book to have. And one of the surprising things is, as I was going through it, I came across various bookmarks that my mother had marked pages with. And one of them was this shopping list, an old shopping list that she's obviously used, crossed everything off and used it as a bookmark. And of course in the 1960s everybody smoked, or nearly everybody smoked, and I found the remnants of a Embassy extra mild cigarette packet, which he cut up and used as bookmarks as well. Dear me, I remember kicking off on Woodbines originally. So all these little things that I found in the book which we didn't know were there. And also another interesting thing that we found was this envelope, which originally had a flowering cacti in it. So you bought the plant in this bag, and I presume that this is the name of the place that supplied it. It's called an overload pot plant, and those are different species that they do. So these plants are held to be one of the oldest forms of plant life in cultivation, originating in the primeval rainforest and were the forebears of desert cacti. This plant, given these few simple rules, should grow and bloom more prolifically each year. So it's originally from Brazil. So watering cannot tolerate being overwatered. Well, no cactus can it? Barely moist is ideal. Do not stand in water. Temperatures 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit are ideal. Do not place in direct sunlight, but keep in a fairly light position. Feeding after flowering. Do not feed for 8 weeks, then feed with liquid fertiliser at every 4th watering. This plant is grown in overload compost, and you can feed it with baby bio. So that's what you got your cactus in. Ah, very interesting. So I'll put all these little bits and bobs in the envelope. So there we are. That is Percy Thrower, and what I like about the front cover of this book is the fact, it made me smile, how many of us today actually do some gardening in a collar and tie and a 3-piece suit, and I think that's just absolutely perfect, and smoking a pipe at the same time. Percy Thrower, well, Tom, I reckon he's one of the gone but not forgotten.